Welcome to the Trading Without Borders podcast with Omobi, your host. For today's episode, I have a special guest with me who will be sharing insights about the Intra-African Trade Fair 2023. I started discussions about the IATF 2023 about 2 weeks ago. So today I have here with me an entrepreneur, a business owner who participated at the fair, and she will be sharing some insights with us this beautiful afternoon. I have here with me Alexis Juma, and she will be introducing herself to us. But before she does that, she's going to say hello to us in our language. But before she does, let me just do a very quick introduction. Then she's going to speak more on that. So Alexis is an easygoing, adventurous, self-driven, and compassionate Christian and social development specialist that has worked with hundreds of thousands of people in marginalized communities across Kenya for almost 2 decades through a few local organizations and NGOs. She's the founder and CEO of a social enterprise called Kakia Oils that primarily partners with smallholder farmers, producers on market expansion for their plant oils with the goal of sustained livelihoods. She's also the co-founder of Lima Technologies, a fresh produce B2B company that supports farmers to access markets through technology. So, Alexis, you're welcome to the Trading Without Borders podcast. And so you're going to be saying hello to the listeners in your language. So over to you, Alexis.
Oh my goodness, Omobola, thank you so much for this opportunity. Hello, viewers. Really great to have you with us on this podcast. I'm super excited. How we say hi in Swahili, the formal way is habari yako. Habari yako. Then the response is mzuri sana. Yes.
Mzuri sana. Fantastic. And
yes.
Okay, so they're saying hello and we are responding. What's the response? What does that mean?
Mzuri sana is I am very fine.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Alexis. So I have been, so all my guests have been coming up with saying hello to us in different languages. I need to start taking notes of that and getting that. So
I love it. I love it.
Sharing that. Although I usually do that myself, sometimes on the podcast, I just research on various African languages and I say hello, thank you, bye-bye. But I stopped for a while, but I'm going to get back to that. So I've been doing, I've done Swahili, I've done some Nigerian languages, I've done the Ghanaian, I've done across board. So I will resume that back again. Okay,
that's
Alexis.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for joining me for today's episode. So can you just introduce yourself and your business to the listeners?
Yes, definitely. So listeners, like mentioned previously, my background is in the development sector. I have studied around development work for my undergrad, and then for my master's, I went on to do a Master of Science in public health. So a lot of my career basically was working with large communities, disenfranchised communities, supporting them with a lot to do with social determinants of health, just so that as we are able to have, their health at an optimum level, we are also catering for other issues around nutrition, economic livelihoods, education for the children, and so many other things, psychosocial support. And so through that, we've worked with a number of leaders, and this has been over a span of about 2 decades, and so after 2 decades, you've grown in age and you've grown in rank and you question yourself. And for me, what was not working was the fact that I had a very young family and I was really traveling a lot just to support different programs in different areas. And so I had to make a decision whether my career, was more important, or if I wanted to still pursue a lot around the career, or the family was more important for me at that point. And so I chose to quit work to go home and take care of my children, which I did in 2016. I resigned from my job then. And then I came back home and sat and became a housewife, and, you know, just was able to understand better where my children were at, what they needed, and, you know, the support they required from me as my mother. And I think for me, what was really, really bothering me was the fact that even when I was home, my children were more inclined to discuss things with their father, to go to him for the minutest of needs, to, you know, their bigger needs. And it always bugged me that, I mean, honestly speaking, growing up, I feel like my mother was more or less the one who would be more around us. So my husband was playing a major role, honestly, of just taking care of the children and being with them as I traveled, but it really bothered me. And I'm glad I took the decision to just come home and take care of them and be able to find something else that I could do. And so as I was home and doing what I love doing, you know, motherhood and all, I realized that I've always had a passion for plant oils, and these plant oils had helped me in my teenage when I was experiencing eczema. And somebody mentioned in passing that, you know what, avocado oil might work for you. This was at a point where I had actually given up. I was like, you know what, I don't know what this is. They call it eczema, but really it looks like I'm going to be having it, all my life. So when somebody mentioned that and they were able to actually, you know, have access to it, I asked that they bring that to me. And then when I used the avocado oil, it was able to actually reduce my eczema. It actually managed it completely so that you could not see it on my skin. And I got intrigued. So I was reminded of that after quitting my job. And I was like, wow, since then I've had this passion of oils, and I keep mixing different oils and just testing and seeing what is possible. And I grew a passion. I should pursue that and make it commercial. So during that time when I was home, I decided to act. And so because it was a business I was starting and I didn't have really to um, uh, conduct a business or run a business and successfully, then I was able to convince myself to go back to school, if you will. I joined a program here in Nairobi that was running an entrepreneurship class for about 5 or 6 months. And so we were able to be trained on the different facets of business, what you should be looking out for, and really how to do this in a way that would be profitable for you. So after the training now, I started asking myself questions. Where do oils come from within the Kenyan market, and where can I fit in? And so that meant now that I had to really do a lot of traveling within Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda, just to understand where our plant oils come from and what are the challenges around there. So a lot of introduction, a lot of interaction with the different farmer groups, and then we realized that markets and marketing was a major challenge for farmers. They were having these amazing, beautiful oils from different produce. We are talking moringa, coconut, eucalyptus, lavender, avocado, chia seed oil, peppermint, tea tree. My goodness, it's a plethora of all these different oils, and they didn't have good markets for them. And so we took it upon ourselves that really we think within, you know, along that value chain, then our mandate really should be marketing this oil and just ensuring that they get good markets. So primarily that is what we've been doing since 2018, and it's been an interesting journey, a sharp
so
learning curve, and here we are now.
Wow.
So post-COVID, we realized there was a lot of opportunity. And so we've started also doing natural cosmetics manufacturing. And like I said, again, a lot of learning and a lot of engagement. And therein now we've come to learn of the AFCTA platform that is really amazing. So in a nutshell, that is our journey and where we are at now.
Wow, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing
Thank you.
that. Thank you for sharing your story about quitting your work to taking care of family and then trying to
Yes.
get an opportunity, and you found one
Yes.
and you plugged into it. So for an entrepreneur, I think those are the sort of things you should also be sitting. What are the opportunities that is available to me? Where my environment and all. Thank you for sharing that. So we move on to the IATF 2023. How did you get to know about this? Because I know in my discussions you had said you just came into the space of the AFCFTA, like you were not for a while you didn't get to know about. How did you get to know about the IATF? That's the Intra-African Trade Fair. For those that are not aware, Intra-African Trade Fair 2023. How did you get to know about it?
Yes, so as I've been doing the business, my business around here in Kenya, I've also been very strategic in just understanding how else, where else, who else, should we be a part of, and what should we be pursuing. And so as we are doing that, we've been part of a number of programs. So here within Kenya, we have a platform, I would say a trade support organization, or a platform that does a lot of linkages for women and youth. It is called the SME Founders Association. And so we managed to be a part of a program they were running, which was called a Young Ventures Program. That was funded by GIZ. So when we joined the program, the SME Founders Association was able to take us again through a number of trainings, and just how we are able to build more resilient systems and processes for our business. So as I was going through the program and everything, of course, they get to know what you're doing. They get to help you to build better, to understand where you are going, and just strengthen your business model. So when we finished the program, of course, I went on to just implement some of these things that we got from the training. And then recently they contacted me and said, Alexis, there's an opportunity for a meeting. Do you have a passport? I had no clue what they were talking about, but I mean, these are my coaches and mentors, business coaches and mentors. So I told them, yes, of course. So they requested that I share my passport, the data page, just so that probably they could verify that it's still valid, And so I shared, and when I did, they were like, oh my goodness, this is great. So now there's an opportunity to go to Cairo for the IATF 2023. Would you be willing to do that? And of course, I was very excited, because it's a platform that just opens up your eyes to ideas and opportunities that you possibly had never even dreamt of, And so that is how we got to be part of the IATF 2023.
Amazing. And so for an entrepreneur, you need to be prepared. You need to join associations, relevant associations, that such opportunities can come up. And if you're in Kenya, SMEs Founders Association is one of it that Alexis has.
Yes.
Look for trade support organizations if you want to start trading cross-border. Okay, so we'll move on to the next. Can you share your experience with us at the IATF 2023? How was it like?
Oh, mind-blowing. So because SME Founders Association does a lot of linkages. So this particular trip was sponsored by ITC, the International Trade Center. And so we were able to, of course, make our way to Cairo, where this was taking place. And I loved that when we got there, there were just so many people, entrepreneurs, male and female, from, across Africa, that were there to just meet, interact, learn, trade. And for me as Alexis, this was interesting because your eyes open up to so many things. The way they say, I think in Africa we say, you think your mother is probably the best cook until you step out.
Exactly.
So as we are here, as we are here in Nairobi doing amazing stuff, you get to Cairo and you see what others are doing, and your eyes open up, and you start seeing opportunities, and you start seeing what is possible. And it's exciting and it's scary in equal measure. But I love that it shows you where you can be. So there was a lot of masterclasses and trainings that were going on as side events of the main IATF itself, the fair, where people have booths and people are displaying or showcasing what they have been doing back home. But I love that, one, I was able to interact a lot of entrepreneurs. And when you talk to them and just share the challenges you're having, probably as an entrepreneur from Kenya, you're able to pick and learn from how they've been able to maybe work on a specific challenge from their, base back home. So you're able to understand things from a different perspective. As far as the intracontinental challenges are concerned, just the meeting of minds and, sharing and trying to understand how we can proceed forward. I love that even financial institutions that would be supporting our trade processes, exactly, they were right there. And so we were tell them what we are looking to achieve in this process. We had, world-class speakers and trainers coming on board to trainers on what the agreement itself says in as far as women and youth are concerned, and how we can take advantage of that. So for me as Alexis, it was really an amazing eye-opener, and I think it hit hard when you understand that the platform itself, the main goal of the FCTA, allow me to shorten that, I find it quite a long acronym, that the main goal of
Don't
that
worry, you're
really
not
is
alone. A lot of people find it really like pronouncing it, so you can call it FCTA. Alexis?
Omobola?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go on.
Sorry, my connection dropped.
All right, that's
Uh,
okay.
Yes, the main goal of the CTFA basically is a dramatic increase in the intra-African trade. And this is just to boost, trade that is
Cross-border
going on.
trade, absolutely.
Yes, but that is not happening. They're saying that is the level at which that is happening currently is 18%. Can you imagine? 18% is what
It's really
currently
low. Africans,
it's
from research, they
super
trade
low.
more with outsiders than
It's
within Africa,
exactly.
and that's one of the things the AFCFTA has come to address. But it seems like there's still a lot of awareness issues that people are not aware of, and
I totally hear you.
some
I
of the reasons
totally
why I
hear
even
you.
have this podcast to get to people, advocate, and bring awareness about it to Africans, and let's sort of help everybody get on board, prepare, and all. So thank you, Alexis. That was even for me as I was listening to you, I was like, I think I'm going to have to get ready for Algeria in 2020.
And I think it's
Like,
it's exciting, Omobola, that you didn't wait for an institution somewhere to, take up the awareness aspect of this. I love that you took it upon yourself, because the truth is, it's you and I and other citizens of Africa, people within the African continent that are going to actually trade on this platform. So we should not wait for anyone from outside or a major institution to be the one to create awareness. I love that you're using your space to do that. I'm using my space to do that. Other people will use their space to do that. And as a result, people will become more and more aware of what is possible. And then, we are going to boost trade. As we were out there, we were discussing the consequences of the low trade that is taking place on the platform. And that just means that there's loss of potential good paying jobs that would, come into being, just because business is boosting on the platform, and therefore a lot more people are needed to do 1, 2, 3. For example, for us as Kakia Oils, and then we are able now to do a lot more trade, creating a lot more jobs, and thereby boosting a lot. And I like that this the AFCTA basically is not just a trade agreement. For us in Africa, it's also a development instrument, that they're looking to help boost around 100 million Africans, if I'm not wrong, out of poverty. So we really must take up the mantle and do as much as we can.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alexis. And so that's it for any entrepreneurs. You need to get yourself involved. And it's not just for people dealing in goods. If you're a services provider, if you're a professional, there is also that for you. You can trade in that as well. But which is some of the, anyway, okay, we'll share more information in future anyway. So can you share the impact, Alexis? I'll just move on to that. What's the impact? What was the impact on your business? Like participating at the fair and getting back, what's the difference? Have you been able to measure the impact really? And can you just share that with us, please?
Yes, by all means. Coming from a development of background, for us, impact is long term. It's been 2 weeks since we came back, so we might not be able to measure impact as it is right now, because the time period is a bit too short. But I can tell you about the outcomes that have come out of our being at the trade fair, and then probably speak about impact from this specific trade fair that we took part in. So one, it was very critical what our eyes opened up to. And one was just the understanding that as traders, as women, as youth.
Okay, apologies for the short break. So we're back now, and Alexis will continue to share. She was sharing on the outcomes of the IATF on our business. So, Alexis, you have the floor now, if I can say that.
Yes. Yes. It was very encouraging. And I think some of the ideas for me or outcomes of the IATF 2023 was just the data that is out there that some of us may not be, alive to. One is that, of course, Africa is the youngest continent, 60% of the African population is under the age of 25. That is amazing because it just shows the resource, within the youthful population, and how can we channel this, so that they're able to engage in trade and are able to build innovation or any other, form of economic productivity that they can be able to engage in. Then we are told that 90% of the labor force in the informal sector is actually by women. Women are doing so much and are pulling their weight at an astronomical level, and therefore women must be supported, in terms of training, in terms of finance, in terms of production and markets, just so that they're able to go to the next level of trade, and I feel that this just would go on to get them to the next level of things, and not just operate maybe at a bare minimum sort of level of trade. So some of the major things that came out of that was just to try and understand the needs, and the nuances of other African markets. For example, if I want to come into Nigeria with our amazing oils, plant oils, I might not sell the oils in Nigeria the way I would sell them in Kenya. So then it means that as a woman entrepreneur, as a female entrepreneur, I might have to start understanding how the Nigerian market is like. I have contacts like Omobola and other people that I met at the fair. Then these would be my contacts that would help me understand how that market is like. How do they like their products to present? How do I make entry into that market? Is Omobola willing probably to work with me because she's a native in that country to help me now penetrate into that market? So it was very important.
You're welcome to Nigeria.
Thank you, Omobola. So they were encouraging us to start understanding how the different African countries or African markets are different from ours, and therefore it helps to position better, as you're trying to get into, any African country of choice that you might be looking into. Number two, they were super emphatic on the idea of engaging in strategic partnerships to facilitate access to foreign markets. Again, you don't have to do it alone. I love that as women, we always are joining women groups just so that we're able to have more finances, we are able to have social capital and a lot more other things. And for this now, when it comes to business, we have to be a lot more strategic. How can we do this so that we can facilitate our access to foreign markets? Who are our financiers, and what are our products? Do we have the capacity? Do we know the quality of product that is required in those other markets? So just being able to look around and understanding what is possible and then strategically positioning for that. It was very important. As we kept discussing, it came out that sometimes I might not be able even probably to push the fresh produce from my other company, the amount of fruit that might be required for a certain country, and therefore I might need to have partnerships with people from within my country, people that I can trust and I can work with, so that we are able to aggregate the amount of fruit or whatever that is required, and then we send it to the country that we've chosen to trade in. So you don't have to do it alone. I loved that. And in Africa here, we keep saying that when you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go, in a group, you join with others.
Thank you.
So that was awesome. And then finally, they were asking us to just join groups so that we are able to also have one voice. We are able to understand what is happening. We are able to be in the mix of things. As things are shifting, as things are moving, you're not left out of that circle, that cocoon, you're smack in the middle of it and you're able to move. And then, of course, there's the aspect of the seamless cross-border payment systems that has been a challenge, but we have banks that are already operating in multiple countries that should be able to help with such payment when one is doing some of this trade.
Pan-Africa Payment and Settlement System.
Exactly, the PAPS.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the things that came out for us at the IATF, and it was super critical that we start to get that understanding of, wow, this is what we are able to do. Like, we've set the bar so high for us now, and then how do we start doing it? Because it's useless if you have information and you don't know how to use it. And so I like that they were able to break it down for us over and above the contacts that we made while we were there, and the understanding of what is possible. We have an understanding of how we are able to start doing what we need to do to effectively take advantage of the AFCTFA platform.
Thank you, Alexis. That was really, really insightful. And I'm sure everyone that's listening, entrepreneurs, women-owned businesses, youth-owned businesses, I'm sure you're learning a lot. And what Alexis had just shared, that is just running into my next question about, do you have advice for other women-owned businesses or SMEs or youth that would want to participate in, at IATF, the upcoming one and future? There's the next one is going to be in Algeria. That's in 2025. What would you advise them to start doing right now in anticipation and preparation for that?
Yes, amazing. Very loaded question. I hope I'm able to confidently touch on it effectively. I think one for me is a challenge to our governments. They should be able to create business environments that will actually support the implementation of the agreement. I like that for us in Kenya, our president is already talking about Kenya being a visa-free country, so that people are able to come in and go out and do trade. And I would encourage that other countries do that. So I don't know much about how that works, but I mean, I'm sure there are experts who would be working around that. But in essence, such an environment just supports, movement of trade. And I love that even at the IATF, they were talking about, minimizing or actually even eliminating the tariffs, because that has been one of the major challenges of moving goods across different borders. So with the elimination of that, it just flanks, open the gates of trade, if you will, and we'll be able to trade across the continent, And so for me, my encouragement is very simple. I feel like sometimes as women, especially, we look down upon ourselves and like, you know what, it's just me and this small business of mine, and I'm just managing. No, Omobol, I refuse. I honestly refuse. And I'm encouraging women to take up the mantle. The time is now. Let fear not stop you. Pick up what you have to do. Join organizations, join platforms, join one another, come together and just push the trade you're doing to another level. There's so much opportunity out there. There are organizations willing to support women entrepreneurs. And so we cannot sit back and claim that we just have this small thing we are doing. One, it is not small. Two, you must exponentially just increase the level of belief that you have in yourself and in your business, and then step out of that zone and just claim what is yours. There's so much money to be made out there. There's so much impact to be made by you. And so we must totally go out and do that. And for the youth, I mean, really, our problems as Africa really are where our opportunities are. So they should identify those and just run with it. So for me, I'm super excited, and I'm hoping to encourage as many women as possible to just take up the initiative and run with it.
Thank you so much, Alexis. For the final question, which I think you answered some of it. I was going to, do you have any recommendations for policymakers, for our government, for policymakers that are operating within the international trade space or intra-African trade space, and concerning this, how do we get more business owners involved? Or do you have any feedback concerning that, and what sort of improvement can be done as well? Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited about the agreement. Of course, I'm getting to know more and more about it. So one, as I was talking, I had mentioned the one for the governments. Two, I would say that it's great that in Kenya and in Africa, we already have women organized in different groups, and there are so many of them. Oh my goodness. So I would encourage that we start taking advantage of that. For me, already that is a resource, we should start this awareness and just engaging them more and more, because these groups are in our local communities. So we start a movement of sorts, if you will, so that these women are able to understand that this is possible. And then they're guided, they're trained on what is possible. And then we start creating goods and services that would be of benefit across the continent. Imagine as I was at the IATF 2023, I was interacting with people who do oils from the southern parts of the continent, and they're oils that I've only read about, but I was able to hold them in my hands and say, oh my goodness, I know this does 1, 2, 3, and it is right here with me. So just having the resources from different parts of the continent go to other parts of the continent, and people take advantage of them for utilization and all, it's super important. So I think the women groups is a resource, or the organized groups that we can also take advantage of, train them, guide them, and just have them grow themselves in terms of trade. And yeah, for people with platforms like yourself and myself, again, we can continually just advocate for some of these instruments, like the agreement, to be able to implement it at our country level, so that we are able to upgrade and take advantage
at country level. We can also do cross-border. And if there's any group that you have any group and you want us to, if you're interested in getting me to come and speak to you people, or to train you about, you can reach out to me.
That's thank you, Mobola.
Yeah, so
we'll definitely do that.
Okay, so just I can hear you, Alexis. So just the final word, and we'll call it a wrap for this interesting and insightful conversation with Alexis.
Final word, I'm excited for the African woman and the African youth, and the potential that is there. So let's just do what we have to do. Let's support each other. I'm excited about Omobola and what she's doing with her platform. It really is futuristic. So it's super, super exciting to be on such a platform and just engage as we try to see how best we can help each other. Over and above that, as Kakia Oils, we have amazing different plant oils and everything. It would be amazing to
if they want
see
to
how
reach
best we
out
can
to you,
trade.
can you
yes,
contact
anytime, so that we can see how best we can, do trade between ourselves and Nigeria or any other country across the continent. So thank you, Mobola, for this opportunity, and I pray that God blesses you and your listeners.
Amen. Yes. So how can people reach out to you if they're interested in Kakia Oils? And I hope I pronounced that right. Kakia Oils.
Yes, Kakia Oils.
And then maybe like contact details, but that's another opportunity. Or if anyone wants to speak with you, maybe there's some women that also just want to speak with you as well, just to.
Yes. So across the platforms, we are Kakia Oils. The minute you type that online, you get onto our socials or our website. And then, of course, our contacts are also there, so that we can definitely get in touch. We are welcoming all of them to get to talk to us and discuss anything in relation to trade.
Thank you. And to policymakers, she has also emphasized that there are organized women groups, there are organized associations that policymakers can take advantage of to bring awareness, to also the capacity building for women to be able to trade across borders. I think that way everyone will be able to take advantage of the benefit and opportunities the AFCFTA presents, and also be able to work on areas of weakness, the places that you need to work on, like to prepare yourself. And just like she said, I like one thing, collaboration is key. Don't try to do this alone. Get everyone, work with others, join women associations. You can reach out to Alex, you can reach out. There are quite a number of different forums, platforms, sharing out information, advocating, just to help to get the government is not going to do everything alone. It is us, the private sectors, that are going to have to support. And this is why we have platforms like this that are educating people, that is also helping to bring awareness about the AFCFTA. And so that is it for you. Thank you so much, Alexis, for joining today. And if there's anyone that also wants to come on the platform to speak, you're very welcome. I'm open to that. And it's just an opportunity for everyone to learn and to share, to hear different perspectives about the CFTA.
Yes.
And until the next episode, I say bye-bye. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Mobola. Thank you, listeners.